I'm James Kieft. I'm back again. We're going to be looking at image editing and image creation software in today's Hangout. So we're going to start with one which I think is underused, which is Google Drawings. Google Drawings has come on a huge way for when it was first introduced. And I think what we'll do, we may take a moment to bring up a screen share. I'm going to bring up a screen share and show the sorts of things we can do with Google Drawing. Before we do that, though, I thought I'd just share an insight as to where we've used it here at the college. So down in the hospitality area, what they've done is when they're preparing the learners to lay out their food, so they've done the menu, they've identified what's being served. What they do is the chef will create a Google drawing, very simple sketch of the plate and the food that's going to be served and how he wants it positioned and presented on the plate. Because on their Friday night service, they always do, sort of mousse-bouche, very small, very sort of haute couture type, very fine eating. So there's never a huge quantity, so that the layout on the plate is key. So that all the learners know how it's to be laid out, he does a quick Google sketch with just very simple shapes to say, I want the potatoes here, the meat there, a drizzle of gravy there. And I thought it was just a really nice way. And then he can annotate that drawing to say what the objects are. And I think that's a really simple way of just sharing, at a very basic level, some instructions. So let's bring up a screen share. Right, off we go. So I've opened up Google Drawing. When you go into Google Drive, you click more underneath where it gives you sheets, docs, and presentations, and you'll find Drawings is lurking there. And what you can do is you can open up an image. So what have I got here? Let's see. Let's drag something in. I could drag an image in. So here's an image I've got. I could drag that in. I can resize that. Holding the Shift key, I can keep it in proportion. I can resize that. Imagine that was an image. So that could be my background image. I can add some text above it, do a text box. I can then position that text box. And I've got the arrange function, so I can bring stuff backwards and forwards. So just like you would, say, in Photoshop, you can have numerous layers where you're bringing stuff together. So likewise, we can bring some shapes into the equation and draw a shape. We can then choose to fill that shape with a particular color. We can have the same color for the outline. And again, we can start to arrange stuff. So arrange, bring to front. We can then grab our text. We can bring that over the top as well. And again, arrange, bring to front. And we can change the color of the text. And we can alter the font type and the size. So really nice. But what I think surprises people is that you can also start to add some interactivity to that. So you could choose the text. And you can click link, and you could link that to something else. If you weren't going to do that and you just wanted an image, then you can go File, Download As. And what people don't realize is you've got various options. So you've got a vector graphic, which means it's scalable. You've got a PNG and a JPEG. So you could create this, download that as a JPEG or a PNG. That could be uploaded to a presentation. It could be dropped in to a document, or it could just be added maybe as your logo on your community. Really easy to use. Obviously, it's got the features of Google that you'd expect, auto-saving. So first one that we've looked at, Google Drawing. I think it's a great tool, easy to use. It's within the Google ecosphere already, so you don't have to download or log into anything.
How about sharing, James? Can you share and work collaboratively?
Absolutely, you can. So you could click share, just as you can with the other documents. I'll name that, save that, and I can share that, and I can provide the same editing rights that I would in any other type of Google document, whether that be editing rights, commenting, or viewing. So we'll stop the screen share for the moment because I feel you need a bit more of my beautiful mug. Right, so that was Google Drawing.
I'm glad you showed me that. It's come on a long way since I last saw that. Wow, I'm going to have a go at that after this.
Yeah, it's really moved on a huge way. So if you use license free images that aren't licensed or they're under Creative Commons license, because we don't want to be infringing anyone's copyright, you can use those images. It's like iconfinder.com. I don't like to promote stuff. I have no commercial interest in that site. You can find ones which are license free, available for use, that you can then drag in and drop and then arrange and use. So that's the first one on the list. Got the screen share again. We're going to try out Pixlr this time. For those who use Photoshop, this is going to look very familiar indeed. So what we'll do is we go new, we come to more, we go connect more apps. And this means you don't have to keep hunting for it once you've found it. I'm typing the right title, James, always helps. You've got Pixel Express and Pixel Editor. My preference is for Pixel Editor. Hit the connect button. And now, when we go new and more, oh, it should be there. The way to do it is just go to a tab in the browser. Click on the link. Scroll down the page and click Launch Web App. And I've got a choice to create a new image, to open an image from my computer, to open an image with a URL, or open an image I've saved previously. And for those who are familiar with Photoshop, you end up with an interface which looks very familiar. So we're going to open up an image. We'll open up, what should we open up? Let's see what we can find lurking here. Let's just open up the same one we had before. We can open up that image. And what we can do is the sorts of things that you could expect to do. We've got a layers palette here, so we can add an additional layer. We can add some text. And we can change the font style. We can change the color. You can also add a code, so you've got a hash code of what the color is. You can add that specific, so you get the specific color you want. And then obviously you can move that around. I think one of the real functions, as well as having the layers, being able to create various composite images, is the fact that you can crop and resize images. So sometimes the image you've got isn't in the right proportion. So you don't want to distort the image, but what you can do is you can go into canvas size, and you can make the canvas maybe square in this case. But using canvas size, we don't need, let's move to make them both 600. We don't need to distort the original image. And you can see we've now made that 600 pixels without distorting the original content. So the canvas size function is really useful, but you've got a clone stamp. There's so much you can do with these tools, blurring, all sorts of stuff that you'd typically only do in a Photoshop type piece of software. So pixel art is great. You can then save that. You go save, and you've got a choice of where you save it to your pixel art library or to your computer. And you can save that. So, and just on the save function, we just go back. What you've got is you've got a number of different options. And one that surprised me is the PXD option, which will allow you to save a layered image, very much like a Photoshop style image, which you can go back to and edit at a later date. So a number of options on how you can save that. So that is Pixlr. So we'll stop the screen share for a moment. For me, it's all about empowering people. We've mentioned it numerous times before, and it's just that ability to open it in the browser, to work in the browser. They haven't got the issue of having to request maybe from their IT provider within their institution a license and then having it installed on the machine. And Photoshop now, it's a fabulous package. I use it lots and lots. I love using it. But it's grown to quite a sizable piece of kit now, and it needs a machine with quite a sizable bit of RAM to get it to work effectively. And with that, works perfectly well. I've used it on a Chromebook. It's just nice and easy to use. So I'm going to finish off with my final one. We'll dive into a screen share again. So my final one, and I think I may have mentioned this before, it's going to go through my little demo. So this is them doing a little demo of how you can use it. It's called Canva. So it's canva.com. You can click and drag the icons, the images you want. You can arrange them within a space. You can then add some text, and you can see it's giving us a demo for us. And then you can publish it either as an image, as a PNG, a JPEG, and download that. So when you start it, it gives you a number of choices. So if you want to customize some of your social media spaces, you've got some predetermined banners. There's a Facebook cover, Facebook post, Instagram post that you can create. Or you click more, there's loads of others. So documents, presentations, whatever takes your fancy. So let's go business card. It will open up the business card size, gives you lots of templates. The first few are free. As you get down, they go to the exorbitant cost of $1. And it'll tell you if it's going to cost anything. As I like it to be free, we'll just grab a free one and drag it on. We can then use that basis to edit ourselves. We can select the text, we can change the color, we can change the font style. And what's really nice, if you were doing maybe a series of buttons for a Google site, you can click on the duplicate one, and then you could edit the text. And this could be button number 2. And you can tweak the text box, and you can fiddle around with the stuff as you'd expect. Maybe change the background color. And you can keep going. And when you're ready, you just click download, and it will download a zipped sequence of files that you can then use as buttons for your Google site. So that is Canva. So there we have 3 quite distinct, different image creation and editing sites. All of them are free. We started with Google Drawing, which allowed you to add interactivity to your images by adding links, had the auto-saving and the collaborative working function of being able to share it. We then moved on to Pixlr, very much high-end sort of Photoshop aping skills, creating layers and composite images. And then finally, we finished with the drag and drop simplicity of Canva. So there you have it, my top image creation editing tools.
Thanks, James. Yeah, what impresses me a lot is how fast you can get onto these. Especially if you've got a Google account. But Pixlr, you can get in and start working really quick. Of course, compared to like downloading, installing, upgrading and everything. Yeah, it's marvelous, and it works on different devices at home, at college, at work. It's super.
Yeah, it's all about that accessibility, as you say. The time it took us to launch Pixlr, we'd still be waiting for Photoshop. Now, obviously, Photoshop has a much richer palette of features, but for 99% of us, Pixlr will do all of what we need and more. So it's that balance, and the fact it opens on multiple devices is another benefit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like the inevitable. I guess with cloud software, web-based software, that the bloat doesn't have such an impact as it used to, because you've got the compute power in the cloud network. The way that what the hardware doth give, the software doth take away. As Photoshop got ever and ever bigger, and it required more and more processing power to run it. And DVDs instead of CDs to install it, and all the rest of it like that. But it's yeah. I suppose the other. I was just thinking while you were showing me those fantastic tools, James. I'm going to try them. I've tended to use a hammer for every tool, every job that I've got. I learn how to use one thing. Obviously, there's much better stuff there.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's very easy to get into a habit. I mean, when I first started doing this role, my background's Photoshop, photographer, graphic designer. So the creative suite is where I lived, because it's what I used on a day-to-day basis. But when I'm working with staff, they don't have the time or the skills to use that software. We don't have the licenses to provide it to them. So you just automatically find alternatives. And now it's very rare that I'll open up Photoshop, because I'm just so used to working in the web. It'll be Pixlr, I'll open up, I'll do what I need to do, and I'll save it. So it's all about that accessibility.
Yeah, not everywhere you're going to sit at a computer will have Photoshop on it, unless you're carrying your own one around, and that's got to be fairly beefy. Yeah, so yeah, you paint yourself into a to use the right paint yourself into a corner with software,